Good morning. Welcome to the relaunch of the ASSH. Today is about us having a conversation with like-minded individuals, so welcome to you all. For those of you that may be new to ASSH, it's the Australian Society for Simulation in Healthcare, and we warmly welcome you today. Bear with me as I change the slides as we move along. There we go, the slides are moving. This is a good start. All right, so a little bit of an introduction to all that are here today. So myself, Kellie, Britt, some of you will know me. I'm current chair of ASSH. I also sit on the board for Simulation Australasia. And my passion, if you like, in simulation is the comm skills and the debriefing component, although I dabble in all sorts of different areas as well as developing curriculum, content, assessment and IPL work. I might hand over to Belinda Judd to introduce herself, our Deputy Chair.
Thanks, Kellie. Yes, my name is Belinda Judd and I'm Deputy Chair of ASSH, and my background is originally in physiotherapy, and I've been involved in all sorts of simulation as well, predominantly with simulated patients in allied health undergraduate training. And I'm also an active researcher in simulation-based education as well.
I'm glad you didn't miss that bit, Belle, the education and research bit. That is your area of expertise, and we're very excited to have you as one of our executive team. We will hand over to Pauletta. Welcome, Pauletta.
Thanks, Kellie. Hi, everyone. My name's Pauletta Irwin, and I'm a tardy secretary at best, I think, but I do try and make sure that we all know what's going on in the world with ASSH. I have a long-term interest in simulation. It started off with face-to-face simulations, mannequin-based, but over the last probably 5 to 10 years, I've had more interest and experience and exposure in virtual simulations, looking at virtual worlds, VR and augmented reality as well, and working in the education and research space as well. So that's pretty exciting.
Thanks so much, Pauletta. That's great. And as you can see, we're getting a little bit of a theme here. We're quite diverse in our backgrounds and our experiences and what we bring to the table. So I'll move along and I'd like to introduce Tayne. Tayne, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Kellie. Yeah, so my name's Tayne Ryall. I'm also a physiotherapist like Belle, and that's actually kind of how I got introduced into simulation through some work that I did with Belinda. And then I've since moved on and started doing my PhD and looking at the use of simulation in training and assessing physiotherapy students.
Terrific. Thanks for that, Tayne. Peter, are you there?
Morning all.
Welcome, Peter. Can you share a little
Peter
story
Radonyi,
about yourself?
And I mainly worked in simulation of aircraft, helicopters and aeroplanes, but I'm very much interested in the standards, and I'm probably the odd man out on health simulation, but I'm finding it very interesting. And I think there's a lot of overlap with other kinds of simulation. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Peter. And as you can see, it's wonderful to be able to have another member of our team who has a different take and a different skill set to bring to our group. So we're really grateful for the work that Peter does, and ensures that we do work with standards and are exposed to the latest in what happens with standards in simulation. And lucky last, Kellie Squires. We'd like to introduce Kellie to our group.
Thank you. Just to make it confusing, we've got another Kellie. Always makes meetings fun. So I am the latest person to have joined ASSH just this year. So I am a dietitian by background, and I'm currently doing my PhD looking at integrating simulation into the final year placements of dietetic students. So I know it's very popular using simulation in a lot of different areas, but it's not as well known in dietetics. So that's an area that I'm looking in and exploring, particularly using simulated patients. So it's very exciting to be part of this team. Just as Kellie is about to progress through the slides, just a reminder that if you do have any questions, just pop them into the chat or unmute, or we've also checking the Wova app as well. So popping your questions up there so we can keep an eye on those. Thanks, Kel.
Thanks so much. And I'd also like to introduce Philip Swadling. Philip is our chair of Simulation Australasia, and I'm sure you've seen and heard from him over the last couple of days. Philip is a very strong advocate and support to us of the ASSH executive, and we're really grateful for Simulation Australasia's support in the activities and the events that we run, and also in helping us with some of the logistics that we do. So, you know, helping us get our webinar information out and our research stuff, and also our big major event this year, the symposium, which I'll talk about shortly. So thanks, Philip, for joining us. Was there anything that you'd like to say about ASSH?
Thanks, Kellie. I'd just like to say that ASSH is very important to Simulation Australasia. I think ASSH has always been one of the more active groups within the overall community, and I think having the groups joining together and sharing common lessons is really important. Yeah, I think the team's doing a great job, led by Kellie, who seems to be popping up everywhere. I don't know how she finds the time and certainly the energy. But yeah, just as I said, it's ASSH is really important to the community, and any help you need from us, you just need to ask.
Terrific. Thanks so much, Philip. All right, so I can see there's quite a few people that are popping up onto our Zoom screen, which is really exciting. If you wanted to show your faces, that would be great too. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging talking to a board of black and white in names and no faces. So if you're happy and you feel comfortable to share your face, we'd love to see you and meet you in this virtual space. That would be amazing. All right, so I'll move on a little bit in that we've got a couple of slides to share. So that's the format of this morning. And as Kellie Squires said, we're really interested in your thoughts and your questions and any ideas that you might have. So please feel free to either raise your hand or pop them in the chat box, and we can relay those questions across to the team. And, you know, we are a community of practice, and that's probably my biggest take-home message from today, is that we are a community of practice and we want to share stories and not reinvent the wheel. We're all in it together. All right, so I'll move on. A little bit of history about ASSH for those that might not know. ASSH was created back in 2007 with an aim to bring simulation communities of practice together from both health and education. There was some government funding at that time, so a number of people were brought in from different areas, different states, different territories. There was lots of representation, and they did some amazing work to establish this group. And we're very, very proud and very honoured to, you know, continue the work that initial group started with back in 2007. So we've been going for nearly 15 years, which is quite remarkable in its own right. We have some amazing past chairs, some chairs that you probably see or meet or hear from over the course of the Congress this week. So Marcus Watson, Brian Jolly, Deborah Nestel, Michelle Kelly, Terry Sullivan, Robert O'Brien, Jules Bennett, and as I'm the current incumbent in this role. There's lots of literature that these amazing people have written about in regards to simulation in health and education. So have a look at their work. And as I said, you know, we've got very big shoes to fill following in that initial group and the groups that have held the reins in all this time. And we're really proud of what we can bring to the table. In that, it's really difficult to actually know what you guys want as a membership body or as a group of or a community of practice. So again, we're really interested in your ideas and how we can help and how we can support you achieve your career goals and your academic goals. Milestones. So these are the things that the ASSH committee have achieved over time. So we've had conferences and seminars and workshops. There was initial sponsorship of student scholarships. Simulation Australasia and ASSH have actually sponsored students to attend the Congress this year. which we're really excited about. There were 10 students that came from the health sector, from Deakin University, that had an opportunity to come and enjoy and explore and network and create connections with people from our simulation communities. We also liaise with international organisations, so we have a foot in with SSH, and we're also building our relationships and partnerships with a number of other organisations around the world. I had conversations with the simulation community in New Zealand and Mexico and Canada and now also India. So, you know, our networks can always grow. So think about those opportunities that might be available to you and perhaps what you can share with your local community, but also with the ASSH community as well. Early in the piece, as I said, there was a lot of government funding and there was federal input into how simulation would be used in the health and education sector. I'm probably going back at least 12 years now. There was the big Health Workforce Australia funding, where a lot of simulation centres were set up with equipment and given money to generate and create faculty, to develop programs. And those programs were then shared amongst the community of practice. Some things that have been a little bit more recent is that we've developed and created a simulation map of resources. This was predominantly done by the work of Di Dennis, who was one of our ASSH executive and has only recently stepped down due to other commitments. So that that map of resources is really important. It's got key links and we'll be able to share that with you on the Simulation Australasia website. During 2021, so this year, been a challenging year for all, and I probably would like to say thank you to all our healthcare workers and everyone that's worked in the field of simulation, health and education. You've done an amazing job getting students work ready to work in a very different environment to what you and I perhaps worked in. You know, and I'm talking probably on behalf of myself. You know, I started my nursing career 30 years ago, and I can't imagine what the nursing students feel like coming into this COVID environment. So we're still going to conduct webinars. We're still going to create networks and relationships. We're going to run some special sessions in regards to symposiums, and they will be an ongoing event that we will run. And we also contribute to the Sim Cafe. There are members of Women in Sim on this group as well. And we also are very active as part of the organising conference committee for the ASC. Were there any questions at all about that, Kellie? Did anything come up in the chat box there?
No, nothing yet.
Nothing yet? Okay. So the ASSH Executive, we have a number of portfolios, and as you can tell, we're a diverse team. We've got lots of expertise and experience that we bring to the table. We look at leadership and partnership. We look at research and education. We're obviously very keen to provide events to our community of practice. We're very active on social media when there are events around. So if you want to have a look at our Twitter handle, it's at the bottom of the screen there. So at @ASH_SimAust. And we've been tweeting about what's been going on at the Congress over the last couple of days, and we'll continue to do so. We also have standards, so we look at the standards for simulation and, you know, help people generate their own programs using the standards as a framework. And we're also very keen in membership engagement. So what do you as our members want? How do you think we can best support you in your activities? So our big milestone for this year, join the conversation, the ASSH Virtual Symposium that was held in October. We had a wonderful day. It was a day of Zoom, Zoom and Zoom. There were 3 sessions. However, we learned some lessons in that it was really valuable to have separate sessions and to give people a couple of hours break in between time. So we ran a lunchtime Zoom so people could, you know, perhaps get some time out of their clinical space when they were having lunch to be able to log in and hear some speakers and the community, the simulation community of practice panel. In the afternoon, we had a session between 3 and 5. We were a little nervous, to be honest, about this session, whether it would actually be impacted by the school pickup. However, we still had quite a great audience and lots of conversation and interactivity there. And then we ran an evening session starting at 7. It was a wonderful opportunity to network with our partners. Coming off this symposium, where the ASSH Symposium group will actually support New Zealand ASSH in 2022 when they run their symposium. And we think this is going to be a lifelong partnership. We've got an ANZAC partnership now for Simulation Australasia and our New Zealand counterparts across the ditch, as they say. Just a reminder for those that did turn up to the symposium or register for the symposium, and perhaps your clinical workload prevented you from hearing all the sessions, there are actually links that have been sent to your personal email addresses. So you'll be able to catch up and hear all the great stories that were presented on the day. And again, I'd like to thank personally the actual ASSH team in making this event happen. Also, Elizabeth Lee and Marcus Watson from Simulation Australasia, that were our SA support, and obviously all the speakers that presented on the day. What else? These are some of our groups that we connect with. So SimGhost, Healthy Simulation, SSH, and also now our New Zealand ASSH counterpart. We're really looking forward to seeing what 2022 can bring in this space. All right, I'll hand over to Belinda. Thanks, Bel.
Thank you, Kellie. So as you might be kind of gathering by now, that the vision of ASSH is really how do we provide an opportunity for like-minded peoples from the Australasian healthcare and education simulation community of practice, so that we can collaborate and share knowledge and experiences and hopefully overall promote safety and quality in healthcare. Next slide, Kel. So some existing and previous members of the committee did a really great job in creating a strategic plan for ASSH, and COVID did provide some disruption to that strategic plan in that I guess we can say we felt like we were in a little bit of a holding pattern for a while as people's commitments changed with the impact of the pandemic. We still haven't changed our desire and our vision of what we would like to do for our ASSH members. And those ASSH members also include novice students in the simulation community as well. So some of the key things from our strategic plan that we'd still like to take forward is to gain a better profile of who our members are and members of SimAus that particularly identify as having an interest in ASSH as well. To open our lines of communication a little bit better so we know who you are, contact with you in a better manner, and see how we can improve that part of ASSH as well. Continue to provide support to all stages of our community, from our very novices up into our experienced people in simulation. Support different areas of special interests for the community. For example, if that's in simulated patients or rural or heading online for COVID responses, etc. We see ourselves as a group that can also help with resource sharing and hosting of, and see ourselves as also being able to manage a repository of resources that will be helpful for our community and our members. We'd like to start piloting a mentoring partnership program where we can connect people together from junior simulationists to more senior support mentors. We also have a plan for some inclusive projects moving forward where we'd like to open opportunities for ASSH members to join on various types of simulation projects and research projects as well. So in terms of one of those projects we're looking forward to for next year is building on a project, the Health Collaboration Challenge, which was originally started at the University of Sydney. And this brings together all different types of medical, nursing and allied health students to join together in simulation training to increase the IPL nature of simulation and their development towards being a health professional in, an interprofessional space. And so we're really wanting to launch off that program to bring that cross-institutional. And so that you may have groups of students working together where there's a medical student from ACU with a nursing student from Sydney Uni, with James Cook Uni providing the dietetic student and paramedicine from another university, and really join together some cross-institutional simulation programs. So that's also a vision that we want to bring into reality and pilot for next year.
So
Just
Belle, sorry.
Yes, please jump in.
Can we give a plug there for Christy Van Digley this afternoon?
Absolutely. So Christy Van Digley is holding the plenary workshop later this afternoon, and that workshop is actually going to showcase the Health Collaboration Challenge simulation program that's been running for quite a while at the University of Sydney. And I really encourage you to come to that workshop and hear how they've been able to achieve such fantastic results on such a large scale, with I think something like about 1,600 students being involved each year in the HCC, the Health Collaboration Challenge, and really getting some great pointers on how do we increase the IPL nature of our simulation programs and how do we upscale them to be able to be so effective and powerful when you're talking about participation groups of over 1,000. So yes, absolutely, please come along to the plenary workshop with Christy Van Digley later this afternoon.
That would be fantastic. And I think what we also have to remember in that space is that we don't work in silos. We work as teams. So let's get our students to work in teams early in the piece so they actually can apply that to practical applications when they become, in the real world, out there and as, health professionals.
Thanks, Kel. Next slide. So again, looking forward, as Kellie did a really lovely look back a little bit for us, and continuing to look forward, we're planning some more ASSH events. We did hold a run of really successful webinars that covered all different topics about simulation and education in the healthcare space. Lots of other kind of professional development opportunities. Like Kellie mentioned, we have some great plans to further our partnership with different alliances, including the New Zealand ASSH team, which is super exciting. The mentoring programs, like I mentioned, and also some research opportunities for our members to potentially collaborate with us, which is, super exciting, looking forwards. So perhaps, Kel, did you want to also mention now might be a good time to talk about also the roles on the ASSH committee, and then very happy to chat with the group that's come here today.
Terrific. Thanks so much for that, Belle. That's great. Was there anything any of the other ASSH members wanted to bring to the table before we open up for a Q&A? No? All good? All right, thank you. Kellie, were there any questions, thoughts or comments in the chat? No.
No, not yet.
All right, well, maybe I'll start the ball rolling. I'm interested in the group that we've got here today in the thoughts of what the ASSH executive membership should consist of, what we should actually look like. We obviously are in a period of growth, as we all know that the pandemic has caused some disruption and halt to what we do and how we do it. I think there's been many silver linings that we've actually changed our modalities in communicating and sharing of information. And as you already have heard from all of us, we've all got different backgrounds and bring a different skill set. I was thinking, I think I've identified a gap just listening to us today, is that we actually don't have a student representative on the ASSH executive. And I wonder if that's something that we should consider. You know, we talk about doing our research and education, and we're all teachers in our space, looking at student experience. So maybe we should actually have a student representative. What are your thoughts?
I think I'm going to jump in. It's Pauletta speaking. I was just going to say, I think it's a great idea because students bring the perspective of, this is what happens to me when I'm out on clinical placement or professional experience. This is what happens to me, and this is how I learn when I'm on campus. And to have that input to us, for us, I think would be really valuable to bring that perspective.
Absolutely.
Is there anyone in the audience that has a thought or a comment around having a student part of the executive for ASSH? What opportunities that might bring them, or bring someone that they know?
Elizabeth has commented, the panel is looking good right now, an interesting array of backgrounds and perspectives, but yes, the student rep would be beneficial.
Fantastic.
There is also a comment on the WOVA app. Is there an opportunity to engage with Defence Health?
Again, I think that's a really great opportunity in that would be another gap that we have. So perhaps we should consider having, you know, a representative from health, which then also from defence, which also makes me think perhaps there should also be a representative from emergency services. They are the group or the community of practice that provide health and education to our patients or victims or bystanders that are in trouble before they even get to our hospitals. So we seem to have on board at the moment the acute sector and the academic sector, and also the allied health representative, but I do think there's a gap in emergency services, student representation and defence. So I think that should be something as a key point that we could put onto our 2021-2022 plan moving forward. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea, Kellie, and I think I think which has almost been a theme for the Congress is increasing diversity in all different ways is a great thing, and I'd love to have those other different perspectives that, you know, straddle some different areas of simulation that also dabble into health. I think that would only make us stronger. Perhaps you want to share that final slide then, Kellie?
I can definitely share the final slide. So we're out for recruitment. We would love to hear from anybody who has a passion for simulation in health and education. And as we've identified this morning, it doesn't matter what area that you come from or perhaps what level of simulation that you have. So if you're a student, it's all about the experience. We want to bring people into the executive to be able to have that diversity, but also to have insight, I think, is really important of what's actually happening in the everyday, real-to-real, practical and educational settings. So I think everybody should be able to have a voice and should be representative. So if you are interested, my email address is there. You can contact me directly at kellie.britt@deakin.edu.au, or you could contact admin@simos.com. There's obviously a process that has to be followed. However, if you are interested, we're very happy to have a chat. Were there any other questions or comments?
There's another comment on the chat from Elizabeth, who said, for future committee work, promote healthcare work in regards to the John Mitchell Award for Young Achievers. So she's recently seen several potential nominees at the SIM seminar recently.
Oh, terrific. Well, we should definitely take that on board. Thanks for sharing that, Elizabeth. That's amazing.
And then another one from Elizabeth as well is to use the future developments on the SIMOST website to record and promote healthcare activities in simulation.
Yeah. So that's something that we will be working on for 2022. It wasn't in our list of activities, is, you know, how do we actually share our information and where will our repository be? So we will put some information out once that's all managed, and we're really happy with how that will look, so that members can actually access that information and it's easy to find.
Speaking of volunteers, that would be an area that would be really helpful if someone out there is good at web development and can work with us, with ASSH and with SIMOS to help develop the website. I think it's in serious need of some renovation to make it more modern and to make it more accessible to everybody. So if anyone's got any thoughts about how we could go about doing that, that would be very helpful.
That would be terrific. Thanks, Phil. That's a really important opportunity for someone to get into simulation and again share their skill set. We're not all experts at everything, but we've all got something that we can bring to the table. So fantastic. Any other thoughts or questions? No? Were there any closing comments from the exec? Belle, any closing comment?
More just a word of encouragement. Like, we're a very approachable, fun group, and we would just love to connect with you more. So please don't hesitate to find out a bit more about us, see how we can connect better, even if we can't always solve your problem straight away. We can connect you to different people for support. So I guess that's sort of another sort of role that I see us doing as being an essential point of contact in the simulation community in healthcare in Australia. And from that, we can, further connect and network people who come to us with particular challenges or networking goals or something like that. So we don't bite. We are a very approachable, lovely group, and just can't wait to kind of have a better relationship with our members and have a few more join us on the team as well.
Terrific. Thanks so much, Belle. Kellie? And I'm going just around my screen, so sorry that I'm just picking you a little bit randomly.
No, nothing in particular. I guess just echoing what Belle has said. I kind of have only come on really recently this year, and I guess I was probably that person in the boat going, oh, I don't have enough qualifications. What am I going to bring to the team? So I've kind of been thrown in to the deep end with just coming on when the symposium was being developed and things like that. But probably echo just, if you're interested in simulation, give it a go. I've really learned so much from those who are on the committee, and any kind of simulation experience is valuable experience. So I would really welcome anybody to come and join.
Thanks, Kellie, and thanks for letting us know that you're okay. And that you're still here, and
proof that we don't bite.
That's exactly right. And I think you made a really important point, is that we're all learning all the time. And I think, it doesn't matter how much experience you've got under your belt, there is always going to be someone that crosses your path that has a different skill set or a different experience. And if you can take something away from that, that becomes valuable. And it's not something that, if you don't meet and greet and connect, you'll never get those opportunities. So this is a wonderful opportunity for people to meet, greet and connect, build those relationships. And again, don't reinvent the wheel. We're all working so hard at the moment with so many tasks on our plate. So, join a group. Even if it's not our group, if you've got a special interest in women in sim and that's really what you'd love to do, I'm happy to give them a massive plug to join Women in Sim. And if you're interested in that, Jess Stokes Parrish, who's on the attendee list, you can contact her. I'm also a member of Women in Sim, so I'm happy for you to give me a buzz as well. Tayne.
I didn't have anything else either, other than same sort of things that both Belle and Kellie said. Just come and join us, come and have fun. If you enjoy sim, you'll enjoy our company.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tayne. And we are fun. We catch up once a month. That's probably something we didn't mention. So there is a little bit of volunteer time. That's, an expectation. We do catch up once a month. For a couple of hours on the phone or on, or depends where you are actually. I've actually held meetings from my car on the Zoom platform from my phone or my tablet, but we try and accommodate everybody's needs. So once a month, catch up, and, choose your portfolio wherever your expertise or special interest lies. Pauletta.
I was just adding to the chat, I think we have caught up with wine once. So that might be appealing to some people, that they're not all dry. And the only thing I just want to tap into is just to highlight the drying up of funds, really, in a lot of ways. And so collaboration is key, I think. So I would hope that we can generate some interest and really get some great collaborations happening. Not only will that inform our knowledge and our practice, but hopefully we can also be better positioned, I guess, to have a voice and be heard, and also get some funding to, take our projects even bigger.
Completely agree. Thanks, Pauletta. A united force is what we need.
That's it.
And the more voice we have, the more united we are, the louder that voice becomes, and the people that need to hear will hopefully hear our stories. So well done there. Peter, was there anything that you'd like to add as a final message to our team here today? Oh, you were there and then you were gone.
Oh.
Well, we can definitely hear you, Peter. We just can't see you.
Now we can see you but not hear you.
The challenges of connectivity. We can't hear you, Peter. You're muted. Isn't that what they say, Zoom bingo? That's what's been happening all year, or 18 months. There you go, Peter. You should be good to go. Any final comments? So for those of you that are in our background, Peter actually does a lot of reading of text. So Peter, I'll talk really slowly so the text will come up hopefully slowly. Any final comments? Maybe Peter's text is actually not working, so he's having some challenges there. If he comes back on, we'll let him have a quick say. So from me to all of you, thanks so much for joining us. We're really grateful for just the opportunity to be able to share our ASSH story, the story that ASSH has been going for 15 years. We're really proud and we're very honoured to do the job that we do. If we can help you, support you, work with you in any way, we're really keen and we're really interested. And if there is anyone out there that's interested to become part of the ASSH executive, we are looking at an expression of interests. So please contact admin@simos.com, or you can contact me directly at kellie.britt@deakin.edu.au. All right. Thanks everyone for your time and your energy. And thanks again to the executive. You've done a wonderful job under extremely difficult circumstances.
And thank you for your leadership, Kellie, and we look forward to the things we can continue to achieve in the coming year under your leadership. It's highly enjoyable, and hopefully things aren't going to be quite as challenging as the previous couple of years.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Yeah.
Take care and
everybody.
stay safe, everybody.
Thanks.
Take care and see you soon.